Hello YouTube, how you doing? You just missed me doing a promotional thing. Lucky you. Lucky you. Should we start the swirler back up? I think we probably should. There we go, a little bit of swirler. Never hurt anybody. Unless of course it turns out the reason his YouTube channel has gone dead is that he's been a terrible person, in which case maybe swirler did hurt people. I don't know. Although I would like to think he didn't, because, you know, it's terrible when artists suddenly turn out to be terrible people, isn't it? It's very tragic, very sad. Sad all round. Anyway, let's not go down that little dark alleyway and press space to resume the game. There we go. So my dwarves are walking around once more. It looks like they're dealing with a lot of the refuse we've got. I'm guessing, excuse me, we're going to need a slightly bigger refuse stockpile. That's already half full, and they've only been dealing with it for a few minutes, so we already have this stuff here as well that's probably just going to end up getting transferred straight across. So, I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem. The amount of space we need for refuse and the amount we have aren't really working well together. Sure, we could make a magma-based rubbish disposal system, but then that could end up with us not having enough dog bones and whatnot for moods. By dog bones, of course, I mean actual bones of dogs, rather than the Red Rocket lipstick or the bones that they chew on. Because, you know, that wouldn't work, would it? Excuse me. I'm getting the sniffly whifflies now. It seems that my hay fever's kicking in. It's 2:20 in the morning, so the waves of tiredness should start to be crashing on my psychological beach pretty quickly. Akira's throwing a tantrum. That's not ideal. Let's see if we can nail down the... What the hell was that? That's better. Let's see if we can nail down the causes of Akira's tantrum, because canonically, in the history of characters named Akira, them having a bit of a wobbly has not really worked out well for most of the people involved. Currently, they're leading a weaponsmithing demonstration. Well, that could go badly. That's not the case, though. They're having a tantrum. Let's refresh. Oh dear, we've lost 2 dwarves. We had 52 adults, 25 children, and 0 vulnerable babies. And now we've got 50 adults, 25 children, and 0 vulnerable babies. But that's okay. That's okay. It looks like we've got a lot of very moody people. Buckshot Brigade's losing his marbles, getting a little bit eggy. Akira also being a bit of a tosspot. Murder Machine fucking things up for everybody. Fartius Maximus being a shitbag. And Kaneda, who should really be attempting to keep Akira in check with that laser rifle, is apparently also being a bit of a troublesome person. Bit of a wally, bit of a git, bit of a dingleberry, bit of a tagnut, bit of an arse spider. What have we got going on here? Maybe Simon Swear is a name he writes under and he's actually called something else. Possibly. That's a very highly possible. Nay, probable even. Oh my god. Heavens above. God knows what madness lays beyond that album title or band name. Good lord. What have we got going on here? So we're basically waiting for the refuse to get done and the adamantine to get mined out, aren't we? We've kind of hit a bit of a plateau with this fortress. I'm wondering how much longer we're actually going to let the fortress run, because, oh, a ewe is starving? Question mark? How long have we had a ewe in the fortress? Let's quickly sort out this... this grazing land just quickly. If we've got ewes in, if I say G to get rid of the non-grazing, we do not want... right, the donkey's fine. Oh, donkey's already here. Shit. And the mule. That can go in there too. We don't want the kangaroo skeleton. That's named. That's a horse skeleton. Kangaroo doe. Let's expand these out a bit. See if we can see what's going on here. Yeah, skeleton, skeleton, skeleton. Donkey skeleton, kangaroo skeleton, ewe. Okay, so it's mostly skeletons we have that are technically grazers. We don't want those going in there, but we do have a few other bits and bobs. So the ewe, that can go in there, but otherwise, kind of boring. Kind of boring. Hang on. That's better. Right, now, back down to the adamantine to see how the digging's coming along. Not perfectly. However, it's not too bad. Look, we've dug a fair old chunk of it across. This little bit here is now turned to magma. I mean, ideally we want the whole area around here completely turned into magma as quickly as possible, but I'm guessing it's not that likely. Maybe I should just be more sensible and slowly work these rows backwards rather than immediately diving in and trying to get this done. Because I'm getting the feeling a lot of the deaths in the fortress... Oh, hello, I've left you all in dwarf therapists, haven't I? A lot of the deaths in the fortress have happened down in this watery mine. It's not the safest of places to be working. Then again, where is safe to work in a dwarven fortress? Have you seen the Mines of Moria in the Lord of the Rings? Not a single handrail. It's fucking insanity. I know dwarves are quite low to the ground and fairly squat and have a low centre of gravity, but Jesus Christ, please, just a few handrails would stop my palms from sweating. Ravelin 4 still alive? Oh yes, Ravelin 4, very survivable character. Lots and lots of endurance there. Well done, Ravelin 4. Right, someone's actually coming down to do this. I'm just going to quickly go into Dwarf Therapist again and check to see how many miners we've got. We're doing alright, we've got a few. Looks like Akira is one of those miners though. Also currently engaged in an individual combat drill. I don't know how I like that. I had a tantrum a moment ago and now we're training them to be more combat effective? Does that really feel like the most sensible way to approach the situation? There they are, look, standing there having an individual combat drill. I bet everyone's avoiding them. After they've gone, keep having these moments where they're like just slamming people into lockers and going, "You don't understand!" Oh! And now they're sitting there shadow boxing, waving their sword around on their own. I mean, it's not even a scheduled training day. What's the deal with Akira, right? Are you upset that they treat you like a kid? Are you having trouble controlling your burgeoning psychic powers? Is that what it's all about? Yeah? No? Question mark? I don't know. There seems to be a lot of people taking and laying the adamantine armour down in the stockpile, which indicates to me that they're wearing it and then taking it off. Which is... Dwarves don't believe in health and safety. They don't look like they believe in it for sure. They maybe in their heart of hearts they do believe. I believe in health and safety. But maybe not. Maybe not. No worries, Dave. You let yourself drift off. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't have to leave the stream going either. We will forgive you the lack of viewership. It'll be fine. And it'll always be here in the VOD or on YouTube, ultimately. Get yourself a sleepy time. Plus, you know, it's 2:30 in the morning, so, I mean, I'm not going to be going on that much longer. I'm not going on that much longer. Maybe 25, 30 more minutes. We shall see. We shall see how it goes. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, yes, I was trying to figure out about the mining rather than looking at our psychotically training friend there. Okay, this is looking alright. The problem is, we've got a very sort of small window of opportunity to do most of the mining works, because they can go down there in 3s, 1s and 2s, but as soon as it's mostly 1s, as soon as the depth gets to mostly 1s when all the water goes down into trenches on the lower levels, it starts evaporating and we have to do the whole floodgate thing again, which is a massive pain in the arse. Oh, Murder Machine's throwing a tantrum. That's not ideal. While the game is saving, we'll go back over to Therapist and take a look. Show me Murder Machine. Why is he having a tantrum? Let's sort by happiness. We've got some very unhappy dwarves down here. Very unhappy indeed. And I would ideally like Murder Machine to continue not being an arsehole. Or start not being an arsehole, because they're currently our best brewer by the look of things. We don't, mind you, we've got some close seconds. Stratosphere, also a Grandmaster brewer. Why is Murder Machine so sad? Basically, very lonely. Oh, and Ashamed of not having a shirt or pants. Okay. Fair enough. Interesting. Okay. Maybe we should get some more clothes made. I feel like we had a fairly high volume clothing system going through, right? I'm going to go and check our clothes stocks once the save is finished. We'll go over there and have a little peeky poo at the old clothing zone. Take me to the clothing zone. That's what they call wardrobes in dwarf fortresses. Jadzia pleased. Is that Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine you're talking about? Or am I misinterpreting? Oh, it's an emote. I getcha. I understand. Oh no, are all emotes broken? I'll try one of mine. Please let emote work. It worked, it's fine. That one's fine. I often find that every now and again, like, you'll type in the emote correctly and it'll just... Because you'll see when someone calls for an emote in chat and everyone's like spamming that one emote, it goes... There'll be at least 3 or 4 interspersed with the name of the emote correctly spelled, but for some reason not transformed into the emote. I don't know why that is. I was watching Harry playing Dark Souls 3 earlier and that kept happening. It kept happening. He was putting his boggies in this chat. Oh, I should probably turn my phone off in case it starts rebroadcasting the stream through the microphone. I've got a missed call. What's this shit? From Azerbaijan. Fucking hell. Excuse me, there's a fart. I'm guessing that's some kind of prank call or some kind of robocall. Unlikely to be someone I know, although I have met someone from Azerbaijan before. It was another oil project, that one. It was an oil well in the or an oil head system in the Caspian Sea, I think. Yeah. He had a watch that looked like a fucking rubber dinghy. It was enormous. Bit unnecessary if you ask me, but there you go. Okay. What's happened here? Why have we suddenly zoomed over to this... oh. Tosid the Glassmaker has been taken by a Fey Mood, have they? Intriguing. Well, let's see how that pans out. They've apparently gone straight to the workshops. I don't see them. Is that them there? Oh, there they go. There they go. There's Tosid. Come to claim a glassmaker's workshop, no doubt. What do we do? I had another thing planned. I was supposed to be doing something else, but I've been distracted by this moody dwarf. I watched the Dark Souls thing you were hosting, and it looked like every other modern game. It did have a... Dark Souls, I think, is very much a... Most people don't really get the Dark Souls bug until they try it, and many people, especially me, were forced to try it by... Not forced, but, you know, they were cajoled into trying it, especially if you're a streamer. Eventually, like, someone's going to say, oh, you should try Dark Souls. But after a while, much as if you watch my playthrough, it does seem like I'm not enjoying myself. But once it gets its claws into you, you're very much a Dark Souls player from that point on. Personally, my favourite game in the series is Sekiro. I fucking love that game. Even though it's technically not in the same series, but whatever. Whatever. Maybe if I played Bloodborne, I'd really love that too, but I didn't have a PS4, so I never got a chance to try it. Never got a chance. Ah. Oh dear. So sad. Oh, what's this? The outpost liaison has arrived. A caravan. Ah, okay. Interesting. Let's go and flip the switch, open up the gates so the caravan can get in, and maybe it'll be a double trading session. Who knows? Hopefully they've brought some amusing musical instruments to go with the lick. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? They're all made in the same engine, so they all look the same. I mean, there are a much more limited number of engines these days. I will give you that for sure. There are many games made in the generic off-the-shelf engines, which, to be honest, I think these days, asking everybody to reinvent the wheel every time by making a new engine for every game is a bit of a big ask. I mean, they're complicated beasts these days, video game engines, and having like Unity, Unreal, and CryEngine and stuff like that to pull off the shelf does make things significantly more approachable for someone who wants to make a game, or even an actual studio that wants to make a game, or even as a place to like get some training to get into the industry. I mean, I agree. Yes, a lot of games are converging on certain design decisions. There's a lot of similarity, but there's still unique bits and bobs every now and again. I'm very keen to see Cyberpunk 2077, because it's either going to be pretty much Witcher 3 in Cyberpunk, or it's going to be like, everything that I'm hoping it's going to be. I'm also probably going to be getting Death Stranding in the near future, because I've been looking forward to playing that for a long time, and it comes out in a week or so. And I probably won't be streaming that one because, I don't know, it looks like a boring game to watch. It doesn't seem very exciting. It's true, but not everything is generic and derivative. Some things are good. I think Dark Souls has more to recommend it than you might give it credit for. I feel like the design decisions in that were fresh when the Dark Souls came up with them, but a lot of them have been sort of co-opted by the games. I mean, look at the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series. I think personally, I'm getting less and less keen on the Bethesda style of game as it goes on. I enjoyed Skyrim first time round, but you can't keep selling that fucking same game for over a decade. Come on. And for me, the Fallout games that have not been made by Black Isle, was it Black Isle? I forget, the ones who made New Vegas, have been going steadily downhill. I've never even touched the multiplayer one, whatever it's called, Fallout 76. It feels like I don't know, the games just don't do it for me. The last modern game I played was The Outer Worlds, and it can go fuck itself. I've heard positive things about that, but again, a lot of the positive stuff I've heard about have been kind of like, it's like Fallout, which is no longer a sort of like a positive for me. Fallout 1 and 2, yes, very good. Fallout 3, I gave it the benefit of the doubt during the time, but meh. Not really my cup of tea. Oh, excuse me. That's right, you're supposed to be going to sleep. You're supposed to be having a snooze. Heavens above. I'll tell you what though, much as it has its flaws, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a gorgeous game. There's a lot of like powerful artistry in that. I would recommend giving it a little dabble. Although it suffers from classic Rockstar issues such as, oh shit, I've got to play another mission. Ugh. And them constantly going, no, the missions is what you love. That's why you've bought the game, isn't it? That's what you love about this game, doing the missions. And then you're sitting there going, nope. That is not what I love Rockstar games for. Ah, well. Oh yeah, the traders. Completely forgot about them. Flung open the gates and just thought, fuck it, let them wander in. Whatever. Let's move some goods to and from the depot. I'm thinking maybe move some weapons. Got any tack we don't need? Oh, it's all in bins, isn't it? So we run the risk of bringing our adamantine stuff up. We could do more picks, but I don't think we want to sell our picks. They're useful. Logs, tin bars, gems, sand, no, glass. Do some cut glass or uncut glass even. Clay, stone blocks, trap components. Ah, spike copper ball, that can go. We'll send the weapon bin up and see what's in it. Who knows? Excuse me. Toys, instruments, tools, cages, barrels, buckets. We could sell some mugs, see if they're worth it, if we need the money, and where are the prepared meals again? Where are the prepared meals? I don't know. Can't see it, but we've put a few bits and bobs up there. Surely someone will be able to deal with it. Let's call Sal up to the trader's depot and see how she gets on. Don't get me wrong, there are certain open world games that I find appalling. Like Far Cry just about manages to pull like enough stuff over the open world to keep it going, but the Assassin's Creed games, after 3, they just got shit. There's too much just sort of like filler and repetitiveness going on in a lot of the open world stuff. Yeah, you're not wrong, there is a lot of that, everything scaling to whatever level you are, which I don't like. That was definitely was that which Elder Scrolls game did that? It was Oblivion, wasn't it? Or something like that. That just ruins the game for me. Actually, Shadow of Mordor, fun little game, but I mean, it does suffer from repetitive, doing all the stuff again and again and repeating missions and stuff like that. Although I will have to say, it's a lot of fun to muck around in and do the fights. I did enjoy Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, no, your loot being sort of like tied to your level is annoying and it's difficult. I think that, you know, there's still possibilities in open world, but I feel like too many games try to be open world and then sort of stumble and don't quite make it. I think a lot of games could probably benefit from being a little bit more constrained. But heyo. Started with that. If you play Outer Worlds, it's absolutely brutal with it. Yeah, I mean, Outer Worlds didn't really appeal to me, to be fair. I saw the likening to Fallout and thought, I think I'll skip that one. Then again, here's me saying I'm about to go and embark on playing the most walking simulator ever. I'm going to go and buy old Death Stranding. But I'm a late Kojima convert anyway. Metal Gear Solid 5 showed me the way. It has its major flaws, but I mean, certainly early on, I think that game has a lot of good promise in it. It does tail off towards the end. Gets a little bit boring with all the repetitiveness, but I'm game for another roll of the dice. I'll see if it works out. I must admit, I've been looking through the Steam sales and nothing's really called me out. Nothing's really given me... Oh dear. Bloody Disney. Always prosecuting their copyrights. Good lord, whatever next? Heavens above. I must admit, with the Mordor, neither of the games did I complete, but I did enjoy playing them while I was playing them. I tell you what, open world game with barely any content, but I still really enjoy it, and I am going to be going back to it soon. Sea of Thieves. I really enjoy that game, but I think that's more of a get out of it what you put in kind of affair. If you've got a gang of 4 mates that can get together to play it, you'll have fun. If you try solo grinding it, I'm not sure how much fun you'll have. People do it, people do enjoy it, but I'm not entirely sure how stable they are mentally. They could possibly be crazed lunatics. Yeah, as I was saying, the Steam sale thing hasn't... I've bought a few point-and-click adventures that I've been meaning to play for a while, but like £1.50 type games, but there's nothing really standing out for me and making me really want to grab it while I can. It's all very much of a muchness. I mean, literally, Cyberpunk 2077... the game that I just spoke about that I can't remember the name of, Oh, fuck it, you know the one I mean. The Kojima games. But those are about the only things that have really given me any interest. I had a brief moment where I might buy Sexy Brutale, but I don't know, I couldn't quite figure out what was going on in the trailer, so I never actually bought it. Part of my problem is I very, very rarely look at any kind of review of a game, because I think sometimes, I don't know, reviews, it's very dependent on the taste of the person playing. Games and movies, I watch more movie reviews than I watch game reviews, for sure, because I feel like I can get an idea of whose tastes are similar to mine in the movie milieu. When it comes to games, though, I don't really know. Can't think of any reviewers who I like 100% agree with their tastes where they cross over. I prefer sort of like critical analysis of games, like, you know, looking at the themes and stuff like that. But often the games that I like looking at the analysis of are not games that I will actually ever play. Strange old world, innit? Strange old world. Sorry, I'm staring at the Steam sale now like some kind of papaga when I should be streaming. Excuse me. Is my trader here yet? Not yet. Still currently leading an armour smithing demonstration, but that's okay, Sal. We'll let you get on with it. It's fine. Maybe this is controversial, but I don't want a single player campaign that lasts 40 hours. I mean, it very much depends on the game. Some games I want to go on forever, and some games I want to wrap up quickly. Yeah, no, game reviews are not exactly an ideal method for discerning what games you want to buy. Game coverage, stuff that shows you a bit of gameplay and people discussing games can be kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to need a little bit more than someone's opinion if I'm going to spunk 50-60 quid on a game. Jesus Christ. Because they are, like, the big games are fucking expensive. And I've been burned so many times with, like, Ubisoft, like, cookie cutter bullshit that, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to be pulled in again. I'm not going to be pulled in again. Even Red Dead, I played that for a hot minute, like, and I never got out of Chapter 2, and I haven't gone back to it since I last streamed it. That session where I shot all the pigs, haven't touched it since. Having said that, I bought Ark for 20 quid with all the DLCs, and I've been playing the shit out of it. I even got a private server and everything. Now that is a fun game. But again, it's one of those ones where if you take your mates into it, you'll have fun. But, you know, if I was playing it solo, would I have given so much of a shit about it? No, not at all. Yeah, there will be new stuff. Excuse me, the wobbly voice. That new stuff will come along every now and again. You will get something that changes. I mean, like stealth game mechanics. Like obviously they're not to everyone's taste, but you got to admit that like when Metal Gear Solid 1 and Splinter Cell was sort of forming the lexicon of the style, that was pretty new stuff. Man, Alien Isolation, I haven't played that in ages, have I? Then again, I completed it once. Do I need to do it again? I feel like that I got everything out of that game that I could. True. I mean, if you play games long enough, I don't know, because I think if you look back over those 35 years, I mean, there's been some significant changes. I mean, you look at the early days, it's going to be all like text, very simple point-and-click adventures, that kind of stuff. Very simple, constrained, like Pac-Man-esque kind of games. And then as you go into like the 80s, late 80s and 90s, it's shitloads of platformers. And then we get your first-person shooters appearing. But I will say there's not been a lot of innovation in the first-person shooter space for a long time. The last time I looked at a first-person shooter game and thought, "Ooh, I fancy that," was ages ago. Says the guy who had a big hotness for Arma 3 recently. RuneScape, heavens above! Never played RuneScape before. Silas Genovese, welcome back to the stream. Thanks for joining us again. Now, I've never. You've got more draw to Windows 98 and earlier. Yeah, I mean that's a golden era for me as well. Like the first 2 Fallout games, some of the Black Eye German role-playing games, and God, there's so many great games in that period. However, I definitely think, like the grand strategy genre has definitely expanded a hell of a lot. Your Stellaris's and your Hearts of Irons. Paradox have done a lot of legwork there. Mind you, they've also done quite a lot of legwork in the crazy DLC pricing strategy genre as well. Colonization. I played something very similar. I remember playing Sid Meier's Pirates and such, but I don't know if I actually played Colonization. 7 Cities of Gold. Do you remember the old EA game, 7 Cities of Gold? Played that quite a lot. And then playing CK1 and actually still have it installed. Crusader Kings is like a very unusual game. I mean, I don't know where the in point is to start really learning to play it properly. And where was the in point for the design of that game? I mean, it must have been someone going, I want to make a noble lineage simulator. And then someone was like, oh, okay, how's that going to work? And then there must have been like hours of sitting around a table all going... until somebody finally cracked how it would work. Yeah, CK2, fun game, but not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Have you guys ever played a 1996 synergistic title published by Sierra called Birthright: The Gorgon's Alliance? It was way ahead of its time. No, and I thought I'd played most of the Sierra games in that period. They do get a bit of inbreeding going on in the old CK. I actually like PDX DLC, or Paradox's DLC policy, but it only works if the company consistently invests the time to make good supplementary DLC that makes the game last over a decade. The in point is Ireland. Oh yeah, I've done the whole Unite Ireland, then sort of like go across to... I have... The thing about CK2 is I play it, I get into it a bit, and then I stop playing it, and the next time I go back I've forgotten everything about it, which is not optimal. But the thing about the Paradox DLC strategy is I wouldn't mind, especially bugs me for Stellaris, where they're constantly changing the way the game plays. That's fine. But every time they release a new DLC, I would like the older DLCs to get cheaper. I don't mind paying 15 quid for a new DLC that significantly changes the game and adds new content. What I do mind is buying 10 of them. You know, if they go down as the new hotness comes out, the old ones get cheaper. So whenever someone, because at a certain point you've got a real threshold of a price threshold to overcome to sort of get to the current state of the game. And often if you don't have those DLCs, that the mechanics are there in the game, sort of like looking at you going, you could do this if you bought the DLC, but you can't engage with them properly. I just feel that a small tweak of making the older stuff cheaper would work wonders, and it would make people more willing to just get into the game. I mean, look at that's like 250 quid's worth of CK2 stuff, and Hearts of Iron's got a shitload as well, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel like if you go into a game and go, oh, I'll buy it, how much is all the DLC to get to the current state of play? Oh, several £100. Fuck. No, I'm not buying it. True. Even then, I feel like because there's so much DLC for those games, like the first ones should be a couple of quid tops, and they very rarely go down to those kind of prices. They want to keep them at like 7 to 10 quid kind of realm, and I understand their reluctance to put the price down somewhat, but that is literally what stops me picking up most of those games and actually running with them, because it's just... Sure, one person can buy the DLCs and everybody can play with it multiplayer, but it's still such a hurdle. It's such a barrier to entry. That's the phrase I was trying to come up with earlier. Imush Zegodom. I am your liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. I'm absolutely bloody livid about Paradox's DLC strategies. Absolutely bloody livid. Okay, let's skip through this. Is Sal there, ready to trade? Not yet. She's drinking now. Okay, fair enough. If that's how you want to play it, Sal, that's how you can play it. We know you need to get your energy back after having all those children in the fortress. It's fine. It's fine. Right, let's quickly refresh the fort. Indoor therapist check. No one's died. Oh, one of our children has matured. We've gone from 50 adults to 51 adults, 24 children, and 0 vulnerable babies. It's very exciting. Yeah, that's yeah. And if some of the stuff feels like it should be a part of the core game, and it's like 5 years old and still like 15, 20 quid to buy, I don't know. It's fine if you've got cash. If you've got cash to burn, no worries. Just buy it all. I've got plenty of mates who will happily buy all the Paradox DLCs the day of release and not think about it. But I don't know. I've got a fairly thin budget to spread out over the course of a year for computer games, and one bad purchase means that's another computer game I basically can't get. Which is annoying. Sure, I could return more games, but I don't know. You've got to stop half an hour in and go, okay, I don't like it. You've got to know you don't like it early on. They do have that whole, like, everything resets as well. They do keep releasing the new version of the game and everything rolls back to 0 and you get a chance to come back in on the Paradox stuff. I've been meaning to pick up some of the City Skylines stuff. I do love a bit of City Skylines. Like the City Builder, like obviously it was only SimCity at one point, but now that Skylines has come along and shaken it all up and taken the crown, the genre's sort of lively again. I was actually eyeballing some of the Sims games. I was thinking, they might be fun to muck about with on stream, or see if the kids like them, kind of thing. But I mean, if you're bothered by the DLC policies of Paradox, then fucking EA will make steam come out of your ears. Fucking hell, they are unbelievable. Like, oh no, this is definitely worth it. Your chance to have a dog and a couple of hats will cost you £25. Oh sure, why not? Would you also like a couple of pints of my fucking blood? I don't know. It seems like a lot of the big studios, like your Ubisofts and your EAs, have kind of jumped the shark lately. A lot of their games just have almost zero appeal to me. Yeah, I mean, they'll do it. They will fucking stiff you on the DLCs, the initial price, and then go, microtransactions, and do you like gambling? Do you have an addictive personality? Well, check this shit out. This'll fucking ruin you. And they're so shady with all that fucking FIFA, Madden, like NBA stuff. It's just sickening. It's disgusting. The way they happily exploit vulnerable people, oh yeah, just start gambling, it'll be fine. It's really horrible. Yeah, that's right. The whole if you walk away from a game and then you'll come back later and there's like 100 quid's worth of DLC, it's a bit of a barrier to re-entry. I haven't played Civ 5 for ages. I should really give that another go. Mind you, I still haven't even completed Total War Warhammer. I should give that a go as well. Yes, Creative Assembly does do the same thing, but so the thing with Total War DLCs is, I feel like they're not quite as bad as the EA Paradox paradigm, because I don't know why, but for some reason it feels similar to the Games Workshop, and they're pretty bad, a thing of buying a box of models. So when you get those new army expansions for Total War Warhammer, it's like a whole army out of the box. It's a new way of playing the game. Probably a little expensive for my taste. I certainly haven't bought any of them. But I don't know, it feels like a nice contained, simple add-on thing. It's not changing any of the mechanics. Then again, maybe the other DLCs do that. I haven't really been too up to date on the Total War stuff for a while now. Hello Christ, welcome to the stream again, and thanks for joining us. Yep, it is. I'm assuming you're responding to the terribleness of EA and their awful exploitative nature. I used to work for the company that distributed EA's games in the UK, also like Zumba Records and stuff like that. It was called Pinnacle Entertainment. I don't even know if they still exist. But I had the chance to meet with a few of the salespeople from EA, and I remember saying, "Oh, do you think it would be good to like go and work at EA? Is that a cool company to have a job at?" And he looked at me with this sad look in his eyes, like, "Oh, my sweet summer child, you youngling, just out of school, first job." And he said, "It's shit. You'll hate it, and it will ruin your love of computer games forever." And I went, "Oh, well, not the advice I was expecting, but I'm going to take it." I'm going to take it. CD Projekt Red is my favourite dev team, and Paradox second. Interesting, because that's very different policies on DLCs for sure. Because CD Projekt Red, if anything, are too generous. Because I started playing Witcher 3, and I just sort of took a little look at how much the DLCs add to the game. It's a lot. And I suppose if you've got a game that's sold those kind of numbers, you can afford to do that. You know it's going to sell. You can put all the effort in up front and be happy that sell it at a sort of set price. But Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Even 30 years ago, EA were getting lots of abuse. That's right. And well, they've always been pretty evil empire-y, haven't they? I mean, like even... Because I remember that guy telling me, "Oh, it's not the same. I joined EA thinking it was all going to be June 2 and roses, and it wasn't. It's all FIFA. It's shit." There's actually not a bad Total War Warhammer 2 DLC aside from the Blood Pack. Oh, right, okay. Because, I mean, obviously all the ones with elves in, disgusting. Ugh. But, you know, they're probably quite good DLC packs. Jesus Christ. I see how it's pronounced now. I've been told to try and get a job at Ubisoft, and I just look at the state of things and go, no. That's a hard no, thank you very much. That's the thing though, I mean, if you want to work, if you've got a thirst, like, because if people want to get to work in the movie industry, it's slightly different in that companies are spun up and wound down for the creation of the movie, but they are all funded from essentially publishers like the big movie studios. But I think with movies how it works is a lot of the time you make the movie and then people buy it off of you after the fact, whereas with games I still feel like the stuff that's made in-house by publishers is very top-down controlled. And actually working in that kind of environment is a bit fucking horrible. Excuse me. Their workers are underpaid and overworked, and higher-ups pull a Darvo on anyone who complains. Darvo, I'm presuming that's just like kick him out. Well, I'm sure the elf DLCs are great for you, Ravelin, but for everybody else, for all sane people, disgusting. You know what? I played a little bit of Witcher 3, but I was so daunted by the size of it that I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 instead. No, I've got a few games that need playing through, but I played the beginning of Witcher 3, and I got to the point where I was talking to some spellcaster woman who was obviously a friend of Geralt's, and we ended up going down into this underground dungeon where I fought like a golem or something, and just chugging through the dungeon was such a tedious slog that when I got back up to the surface and it started getting more into the sort of fun cutscenes and, you know, the nice world building stuff, I was like, I don't want to do another one of those dungeons, and I just ditched it and haven't gone back to it, which is what concerns me about Cyberpunk 2077. They're saying all the right stuff, They're saying all the right stuff about being able to make your own character and wander around, choose what you want to do. But I don't want to get trapped in a fucking boring dungeon. You know? That's my worry. That's my worry. If it makes you feel better, I play undead almost as often as I play elves. Well, that's sort of okay-ish, I suppose. Vaguely. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I should play more Total Warhammer because I've had it for ages and I've barely touched the game. I've got a lot of games like that where I get really excited for them up front and then don't end up playing them that much. And there's some games where I just buy on a whim and end up playing for hours and hours. Like Ark. I never thought for a minute that I would play more than like 10 hours of Ark. And me and Chunky Nut have been playing it fucking loads. It's just one of those games where you're like, I don't know what draws us in, but we're always excited to tame a new dinosaur or build a new building. It's just, maybe it's because I haven't played a good survival game in a while. I've had my eye on that Green Hell. That looks like it could be interesting, but it also looks like it could be a horrible, interminable slog. Bought Witcher 3 full price, played the first area thoroughly, same here, got lost in its vastness and never really picked it up again. You see, the vastness bit wasn't a problem for me, it was when I got locked into the little dungeon and I had to fight particular monsters and I hadn't spec'd myself perfectly for it and didn't have necessarily the gear I needed, and I thought, oh, it's one of those. Then again, having said that, one of my favourite games of all time was Ultima 7, which had similar sort of ways of working. Craziness. You're not wrong, Dave. There is a big problem with people just using like similar mechanics, you know, just going, another variation of this game, another variation of this game. I must admit, and this may cause some controversy in chat, I am going to buy at some point, though not quite yet, Star Citizen. I am hot for that game. It looks like it could be great. It just needs a little bit longer in the oven before I'm willing to try and taste its cakes, you know? Every now and again I dive in, watch a few bits and bobs and go, it's coming along, but I'm not getting sucked into like super early access as it is now. I want it to be the finished product, but I probably will end up diving in before end of early access once it gets a little bit more open worldy kind of thing. But they're saying all the right things. We'll see how it works out. Ravlin says, who am I kidding? All I do now is play Out of the Park Baseball. Blimey, I never really played that. Never really played any of the sort of management games. It's like Football Manager for baseball, isn't it? Or am I crazy? I thought the voice acting dialogue plot in Witcher was cringy dross. Oh, controversial words. I mean, I didn't think it was the most amazing things ever. I do find it a little bit annoying when games are like, oh, this is so super important. One of the things I love about Kojima and his games is that people can go into them, dive in, dissect them, find interesting themes and fun stuff, and analyse them at great length. But I don't ever get the impression that he's taking himself super seriously. He's going for that fine line between I'm taking it seriously, but also it's very silly. You know, he's got that little, like, tiny little line that he's dancing on between this is goofy and this is serious, you know, which I like. I think he does that well. I mean, a lot of people, I know he divides opinion. People do and don't like his games, but I'm a fan. I love sports management games. They're what I grew up on. I once played, when I was in primary school, on an old Archimedes computer. I played a boxing management simulator, which was quite good fun, but I never really dived. I'm not a big sports person. I really don't like sports. Even esports annoy me. It's competitiveness I don't like. It's when people are like, oh, it's important that we win. You will never convince me of that, you know. Even in like online video games, I just want to play and have fun. I don't give a fuck who wins, ultimately. But you know, sports really have that. They really encourage people to be like, no, it's important who wins. It's really important. The only thing that matters is fucking who wins and who loses. And I'm like, no, not my thing. Ba-dum-bum-bum. But all of the old gold box game cost a few, but they're pretty much. You mean like what was that one? Gold box game. I remember the label, but I'm trying to think of some of the famous ones. What was that one? Thank you very much for the follow there. Intriguing name. The one with the Robin Hood fighting. It's like cinematic. The people made a game about ants in the desert based on them, and they made like a Robin Hood-esque medieval game. Oh, what's it called? Good. Hello, lesbian feet. Welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. Yeah, I understand how people enjoy it, Ravelin, but on a very fundamental level, the fact that they are trying to compete kind of annoys me. I'm very much not of the mind that a lot of people seem to have this notion that the fundamental element of existence is competition and that the only way to improve is to compete. Whereas to me, that seems like a really flawed way of looking at the world, and cooperation has been the source of all beneficial progress and good things in the world. It's not competition. It's not trying to prove you're better than someone else. It's getting together and making something better than what we had before. That is so central to my viewpoint, that the idea that people would compete over anything annoys me. Especially something as pointless as kicking a ball around, or who can hit the ball the most times over the net. Those kind of things just actually anger me. I'm like, why does anybody give a fuck about this at all? But I recognise that people do way too much, but they do. Oh, Pool of Radiance. I always wanted to play that when I was a kid. I never had a computer that would run it though. I had a VIC-20, and I think the only game. I think it was a C64 was the computer that would run it. Barely remember though. Cinemaware, Defender of the Crown. Yes, that is the game I'm thinking of. You're quite right. Very good way of putting it, Rick Holt. But I always find that, sure, if multiple people are working towards goals differently, that's not a problem. But when people are like, oh, we're not sharing any of our information, there's no way we're going to tell you how we're doing it, I just like, why send them off down a dead end? If you know that's not going to work, just fucking tell them. But I get what you're saying, Mr. Rick Holt. Mr. Rick Holt, that's a weird way of saying it. C64, Apple II, DOS, etc., but not VIC-20. Yeah, that was just before I got my first DOS PC, which was an Amstrad 286. I forget the full specs of it, but laughably under spec these days. Quite the joke. I remember lusting after a 486 PC with 8 megabytes of RAM and thinking, oh my god, imagine the games you could play on this. Wing Commander 3! Whoa! It's got Mark Hamill in it! That was the old days, the glory days. Sal is still not at the... I haven't told her she's needed. That's why she's not here. Fuck's sake. Come on, scoundrel. Try harder. Try harder. No, I'm not criticising you for enjoying those kind of games, because I must admit I do see the pleasure in those kind of management sims where you take things, build them up, and set them off on their little things. That the appeal of that is very apparent to me. It's just more of a personal philosophical point that I can't but help get into whenever it comes up. Oh my god, it's 10 past 3 in the morning. 10 past 3 in the morning, it's so late. You built a Windows 98 PC, heavens above. How much RAM though? And have you got like a 2, I was going to say megahertz processor? Have you got the big stuff? You got the powerful ones, the big external white speakers. That's the important thing. Is it white, like turning slowly into a sort of creamy beige colour? 366 megahertz. I remember the chips. Oh, those were the days. Classic game of that era. Might even be an earlier game, but one of the Ultimate games. I bought it recently on Good Old Games. What was it called? Forgotten Empires. There were two of them. One in Mars and one in a sort of a voodoo card. Very exciting. I remember that. Do you remember when not Resident Evil, what was it? Alone in the Dark was coming out. Alone in the Dark was coming out, and they were hyping the voodoo cards with the... No, was it Alone in the Dark? Or was it Resident Evil? No, Resident Evil didn't come to PC till much later, did it? Must have been Alone in the Dark. What was that game? Savage Empires. Do you remember Savage Empires? That I played on like a 366 megahertz processor. Yeah, Savage Empire and Mars. Yeah, Martian Dreams was it called? Those were great games. Absolutely loved them. Based on the Ultima 6 engine, I think. I never played Ultima 6 though. Just went straight to 7. Sal, come on, finish socialising. We need to get this trade on. You know what? We may have to wait till the to the beginning of next session to actually do this trading. I'm starting to fade fast. It's almost 3:15 in the morning. And obviously, I'm ruining Dave's day tomorrow by staying up, because as soon as you went, oh, I'm feeling a bit tired, I was like, well, we can't have you falling asleep. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of subject that's going to get you back in the game. How about retro gaming? Yes, this should do the trick. So clever. Such a powerful move. Pure, unfettered bastardry. That's what I was doing there. Oh, is that them leaving? Oh, the traders have fucking gone. No. Yeah, they've gone. Shit. Me sitting here discussing games took so long that they just fucking left. Embarrassing, really, when you get down to it. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What a tragedy. Anyway, those of you watching on YouTube, thank you very much for doing so. It's been a genuine pleasure recording for you, but now our ways must part. Bye. Bye. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.